For the past 7 years, I've been documenting and studying my own health journey in terms of body composition, energy levels, focus, and really understanding what is working, what isn't working. And also from speaking to hundreds of men the past few years, men who hold real responsibility, they're smart, successful in their careers, but the physical aspect has still yet to be unlocked. And so in this video, what I want to go through is understanding what are the real constraints which are blocking results from being the norm. And so by the end of this video, you'll understand what's blocking you and the process to really focus on what are the key few areas to focus on. So firstly, what is it that results consists of? And that is two things: having the right belief that you can actually get the results and having a proven strategy that actually works. So let's write that one down. Results equals belief, strategy. And we can think about this in terms of actually on a graph. So we've got over here, we've got a proven strategy over here, and we've got unproven over here. And then over here, we've got high belief, and then over here, we've got low belief. So let's just focus on actually, if there's no belief, what actually happens? Well, if there's low belief, what happens is no action. So literally all across here, no action. Or if there is action, it's very inconsistent. Over here, if you do believe in yourself, but you're using an unproven strategy, which I'll come on to, but it could be things like doing excess cardio, it could be sacrificing sleep, it could be overtraining, then what happens is that all the effort goes in, but there's no results. So that is what leads to frustration, getting annoyed. And that was the box which I was in for a number of years, because I tried hopping around from different types of training plan, different type of nutrition, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the relationship between sleep, stress, nutrition, training, how it actually had an impact. Now we're in this over here, high belief and a proven outcome, a proven strategy. So over here, we're going to achieve your goals and your outcomes. So this is the area where we want to be, which is having the right belief said that we can actually do it, and then also having the proven plan. So let's get into those two next. Okay, feels like I'm at school again. Right, so belief. How is it that you can actually increase the belief? Now, belief is literally made up of one thing, and that is evidence from using your memory. So belief, memory. So for example, you're already successful in your career, you already passed exams, you already proven that you can win deals. It's all this evidence that shows that you can do something, you can provide for the family. So it's about borrowing this belief. And so for myself, how I actually borrowed the belief that I could do this body transformation journey, which I started 7 years ago, was back in at the end of 2017, I was in the boardroom and in investors, billionaire investors, and I proposed everything to them. They dismissed everything I said, and one of the board members said, "Nickel, you're going to be the CEO, CFO of this business in East Africa. Your job is to turn it around, sell it, do what you need to." And then 12 months later, the job was done. Now, I came from not having very little belief in myself at that moment, because I hadn't managed a large team, and then all of a sudden I was in charge of 200 employees. So that's my story. After that got done, I had the belief of starting my body transformation, starting my business, because I borrowed it from that aspect. So a very quick exercise is noting down like the top 5 areas where you have built that confidence because you've already got proven results in another area, in another field. So that's my story for building the belief. Now, the next thing is understanding the strategy. So having the right strategy. And so there's two things that we want to focus on: stopping and starting. So over here, these are all things which I've done. So excess cardio, maybe thinking that, yeah, if I can just see the calorie burn, that's going to help me lose weight. Yes, it will help you lose weight, but at the risk of also losing muscle mass as well, because there isn't enough stimulus to keep it. And remember, muscle mass is what is metabolically active, so it will burn calories whilst you're at rest. So that's the first thing. Second thing is crash diets. And I remember doing things like this, as in going on no carbs days or low carbs days, or doing carb cycling. And all it did is just mess around my energy levels, because my body didn't know what was going to come next. So that's definitely a lived experience. High intensity interval training. So I've been a member at Fitness First for a number of years now, and literally any time that they had a new class, Tabata class, boxercise class, kickboxing class, I was the first person there to sign up and check it out, because it was going to burn more calories. I was going to sweat. I was going to see my heart rate increase, and literally I still just didn't get any of the results. The other one is sleep sacrifice. So very simply, well, I've got the Oura Ring for the past few years now. Sleep sacrifice, not protecting sleep windows, looking at the phone late at night, watching something just before going to sleep, disrupting the quality of the sleep. So everything that this has an impact. And then also the other one is alcohol for stress management. So just alcohol for stress relief. So it may seem valid, right? As in, drink alcohol, make you sleep better. But especially if you've got one of these devices, Oura Ring, Fitbit or so, you'll realize that it affects the quality of your sleep. REM sleep is shorter, deep sleep is less, wake up more, interrupted sleep. So this is what I want to stop doing. So just draw a big line over there. And then what is it that I actually want to start doing? And if you've been following my other content, you know, it is very simple. It's simple in practice, but putting into real life, this is where it really plays. So structured strength, this is number one. You want to have nutrition rules, whether it's focused on portion sizes, which is the biggest determinant, also is protein as well, balanced meals. There's sleep, making sure that getting enough high quality sleep doesn't need to be 10 hours or so, but it's in 6 hours, 7.5 hours, 9 hours or so. We sleep in, well, we have 90-minute increments in terms of our sleep cycles. There's also stress management. So actually doing something proactive. I prefer breath work. That's something great. I prefer walking in nature, something proactive. Also with a baby girl, adds a bit more weight, so weighted walking. And then also lists as well. So low intensity, steady state, literally keeping your heart rate between 60 to 70%. So this is what I want to start doing, because this is the proven strategy. Now, of course, this is a very high level, so everything needs to be tailored for you. And that's what happened to me when I started my journey 7 years ago. Everything was tailored for myself. And I was wondering, what is it that made me successful in my body transformation journey? And it was because I came with a mindset that I'm going to get the results. And also, I didn't have a family at the time, in terms of like a wife, kid. I didn't have any other body I was responsible to. Travel was at a minimum. So I was doing it. It was very simple for me to do this because I was in charge of what I ate. I tracked my calories. So it was simple. But then slowly, and then also COVID came. Then after that, I was wondering, hey, I'm going to have to start traveling now. I'm socializing, I'm going out. How is it that how can I stay consistent whilst everything else is going to be inconsistent, in terms of I can't control calories when I'm at a restaurant, when I'm out at an airport, when I'm going for a trip. How is it that I can stay consistent? And I realized from my own experiences, as well as speaking to many other men, the biggest thing which is affecting the results, even though if you've got all this on lockdown, you've got locked in, is one thing, and that is volatility. And volatility in your schedule. So let's go over this, because this is the biggest reason why results don't stick. So volatility, yeah, that's it. So this is everything to do with travel, socials, late nights, airports. It could be holidays as well, going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, all you can eat, all inclusive hotel. And the men which I work with, this is the area which they struggle, because pretty much most of the men I work with, they're in their 40s, they travel a lot, they've got high stress, they've got business socials to go to. So it's not as if you can just put life on hold and just say, no, I'm on the plan, because it's still about living life as well. And this is something which I've been incorporating the last few years since I hit my real checkpoint, and it's been more of a way of life. And so if nothing changes in terms of the actual what you do outside of your normal day to day at home, then others will pick up on it and the results won't stick. So this is what we want to focus on. And so with this, it comes back down to one thing, which is in order to reduce this volatility, it's about embodying the identity, and the identity of somebody that is fit, healthy, makes smart choices. Because when you embody this, it makes life easier. And how you do this is by embodying standards, by having standards, and specifically standards that are flexible. So if you miss it once or twice, it's not going to derail process. Standards which are not flexible, adjustable. So for example, if instead you only had half an hour to work out instead of an hour, you know exactly what you can do to reduce that time but still get the maximum output. Also simple standards as well, nothing complex, because they have to really, they have to withstand like normal day-to-day life pressure. So instead of having elaborate rules, knowing exactly how many calories you're going to have, majority of my clients, they don't count calories because they're busy, they don't have time, they don't have the bandwidth to think about this. So we focus on other ways in order to manage it. So having rules around this. And so it looks simple. Yeah, it's just like having standards. It's as simple as that. But in reality, this is the key thing, because results can come if you're in control of everything. But as soon as life hits you, then how is it that you can hold this in the long run? And so this is where this will help with decision removal. So the positive of this is decision removal, because when we make decisions in advance, then it takes less mental output, especially in the moment when you're at the restaurant. What should I order? Well, if you already looked at it maybe beforehand, or you know when you go to a Japanese restaurant, Italian restaurant, Indian restaurant, what to order, then this makes life easier in the long run. So what's the last part? So with this, so that's what it comes back down to, standards. And this then makes decisions easier. So if you know, for example, what are you going to do late at night? Is it going to be watching Netflix or reading a book before you go to bed? Or is it going to be drinking a glass of alcohol? Or is it going to be having a mint tea? Or is it going to be sleeping in the morning? Or is it going to be training? Or like all these decisions, like once you make them in advance, everything else becomes easier. So it's all about sacrificing short-term comfort for long-term identity shift. And then this is the key of holding the results in the long run. So that's it. That's what I wanted to go through today. To summarize, results will come through thick and fast, and they'll stick around if you've got belief. If you've got low belief in yourself right now about sticking to anything, then just borrow it from wherever else you've been successful. The second part of it is having the right strategy. So everything which I just laid out there, you can go and chat GPT and ask for a plan. You can do that. The key is when life gets in the way, when there's airports, when there's travel, when there's socials, what is it that you need to be doing differently? How is it that you can stick around and stay consistent in the long run? Create standards that fit around your life instead of you following somebody else's program. So that's the key. And then reducing that volatility by focusing on identity work. How you focus on that, being that fitter, healthier version, is having standards that are adjustable, they travel with you, and they're simple. So it reduces decisions. Hope you enjoyed this, and set the standards.